Hi, this is Daniel Zafer Joyce. Thanks for coming back. Today I'm going to be doing what I understand will be a short message from Seth. I don't know what he's going to say, but I only know the topic is going to be forgiveness. So in just a second, I'll bring him in. Blessings and joy. This is Seth. It is a great privilege that you have chosen to listen to this message today. It is our greatest joy and honor to share these messages with each of you. So thank you for tuning in, as it were. There is much that must be said on this subject. Forgiveness. There is a dire need for this energy on your planet, in your society, and in your relationships. Take a moment to examine your connection to all of those around you. When I first said the word forgiveness, I'll wager you took inventory to see if there was someone in your social circle or family circle who you have not forgiven, someone that you are struggling to reconcile with, or that you seem to constantly be bumping heads over the same topics over and over, seemingly making no headway. There are two and more groups, but two groups that I would like to address today. First is those who are taking inventory and say, I'm fine. I have forgiven everyone. There is one person I would like you to ask honestly if you have forgiven, and that is yourself. Many humans are very severe on their self-worth, their self-judgment. They are very unforgiving. They do not tolerate mistakes. They do not tolerate weakness. They do not tolerate vulnerability. They do not tolerate when they harm another, when they harm themselves. They hold a grudge against this person that is themselves, unable to forgive them for the mistake, for the harsh words. And they pile on even more harsh words and harsh thoughts on top of that, beating themselves up, metaphorically, for not being able to control their temper, for being quick to react, for making mistakes and not thinking things through, or even for physical issues that are beyond your capability to handle. You might degrade yourself for a physical issue such as your appearance, your weight, your hygiene, your ability to connect with others. You hold yourself to a standard which is not realistic for you. It is a model in your eye, your mind's eye, of this idealized version of yourself. I, Seth, am here to tell you specifically, who is thinking these things, you are already the idealized version of yourself. You are exactly where you are supposed to be right now. And you are not meant to be perfect in this time. You did not come here to this planet to be perfect. You came here to grow, and growth requires obstacles. Growth requires setbacks. Growth requires tasks that seem insurmountable, but they are not. You have not been given anything that you are incapable of handling, that you are incapable of adapting to. This does not mean that all issues will be resolved if you only were a better, more spiritual person or more strong in character. No, that is not a logical thought. That is a mistaken thought that many have. You came here to grow. You were given an agreed upon set of obstacles that you would tackle. You may surmount some of those obstacles, or you may live with them for the rest of your life. But it is through both of these that you will continue to grow. Even if you continue to struggle for the rest of your life, the growth will then be only as much more so because of the struggle. If this is somehow in your control to suddenly turn off, it would not be the spiritual experience of growth that you came here to have. This part of the message is complete. I do not wish to drive this point home any further. Just know that you are where you need to be, and you are doing what you need to be doing. Continue upon this path. It is okay for you to not be perfect. It is, in fact, why you are here. All that matters is that you continue to grow. So forgive yourself first and foremost, and then learn to do the same for others. Do not hold them to some ideal that no human being could possibly match. Only encourage them to continue to grow. For the second group, the group that is struggling with relationships, with forgiveness, that is holding a grudge against your fellow being, a family member or a friend or a colleague, someone maybe that you were once close with, and situations and narratives that are playing out on your planet have driven you in opposite directions. Even this channel has such conflict in his life, and he wishes to resolve it. But part of this message from before still applies. There is growth through conflict. There is, of course, a level that becomes toxic, that becomes damaging, that hinders growth, that causes trauma. This is, of course, something that you must learn to resolve, that you must learn to overcome, and never be the instigator of. But to all of you who are looking for a way to forgive when you do not see how, simply remember that each step of the journey you take is making you more into the person that your intentions have created. If your intentions are to be a loving, forgiving, gracious person, learn to do that first for yourself, then learn to do that for others. For those of you who see conflict within even your own families, where people believe different things and seem unable to reconcile, bear this in mind. You are all correct. You are also all wrong. None of you has the complete truth. And all of you are looking at the truth, the true truth, from different perspectives. Those who believe one thing about the world being corrupt in a certain way are not wrong. There is rampant corruption in your society, in your government, and all of you are aware of this. It is merely that you disagree over the shape that that corruption takes. And so you try to pick out the enemy. You try to decide who is at fault, who is trying to destroy your way of life. But this struggle is damaging. This struggle is not productive. This discussion is not productive. All it does is drive the division further within you, further within your own relationships. Recognize rather that you are all seeking to answer a common problem. You are seeking a more fair and just society for all. You are seeking more equitability. You are seeking more justice. These are good and desirable things. So you can recognize, even in those with whom you disagree, even if they are continually butting heads with you over what those narratives are, recognize at the core that there is a desire for change, there is a desire for justice, and hold them to that standard, hold them to that impulse. For many in their desire for justice may turn to cruelty and turn to hurting others. This is not acceptable. This has never been acceptable. There is currently a struggle that is not even on American soil, but many Americans have taken up sides. This struggle is well known, and it is part of the larger narrative playing out on your planet. But already people have taken sides and decided who is wrong and who is right. Remember that neither side in this conflict is completely wrong or completely right. By playing good guys and bad guys, you are simplifying a complex human conflict down to a child's game, and you have moved beyond this level of reasoning. So merely recognize that there are different agendas at play, and they are complex, and you must learn to think in more complex ways, but also recognize in your supposed enemy their humanity. Do not make the mistake of turning to cruelty in the effort to fight injustice. Do not make the mistake of turning to hatred of an entire people and their culture because of the actions of a few. Many have made this mistake, and you are, quite frankly, too old for it. You are too far along in your development to continually be making this error. It is time now to recognize the humanity in all beings, to recognize the divinity of all beings, to recognize the sacred potential that is encapsulated within a single human life, no matter what that person seems to have done. They still have the potential to accomplish all manner of beautiful, wonderful, and lovely things and acts in their lifetime, no matter how much time they have left. If you can see this potential in the other, you will learn to look past their mistakes, and you will learn to see not where they have fallen short of your expectations, but where they are starting to exceed. This is the message for today. I pray that you will carry it deep within your hearts, moving forward. Once again, it has been a pleasure and an honor and a sacred duty to deliver this message to all of you. Blessings and joy. Peace be with you. This was Seth. That was more than I expected. But thank you, if you've watched this far, for bearing with that entire message. Seth is not brief, at least when I'm channeling him. But I believe his words are very powerful and have given me a lot to think about. I look forward to watching this message and genuinely doing some soul searching and looking where I can learn to practice forgiveness. So thanks for tuning in once again. This is Daniel Zafer Joyce. Thanks for coming to my channel, Universal. And I hope you, if you have any questions, that you reach out either in the comments, or you can email me at universalreiki@icloud.com, or you can visit my website. Thanks so much, and I'll be seeing you next week.